And we need to be very thoughtful and deliberate about the new culture that's emerging. Now, 2 notes about where you're from. So you said Mississippi and Louisiana. Mississippi has consistently been the poorest state in the union. If Puerto Rico was a state, it would be poorer than Mississippi. Louisiana has also had some of the lowest rates of literacy and education. Huey P. Long in your state was the one who really brought education to the masses, a great man, a populist. But before that, you guys were like very provincial, separated, you know, missing teeth, uneducated. And this is white males were uneducated in Mississippi. So what we're talking about is a culture that's coming from a lower class place. Now, at what point in human history do the lower classes produce things that are admirable?
Oh, shit.
What? At what point?
It's a loaded question.
I mean, it's an interesting way to ask it.
It's a rhetorical question, which is to say that in America, Louisiana is lovely. I make it down to the NO all the time. And I love the accents. The people are great, have a beignet and all that good stuff. But and the women are fantastic. But in the United States of America, Mississippi and Louisiana are about as important as North and South Dakota. And they're not what defines American culture, Western culture. They've never been at the helm of anything that we viewed as good. So what I'm saying is, yes, that's your culture, but that doesn't mean that it's a good thing or it's something that should be kept alive.
I agree with that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yo, this is simple. Well, if you have a house, right, and I'm a guest in your house, you have a rule set that says, take your shoes off in my house.
Fair.
I'm breaking your rules.
Yeah.
You just broke the rules. That's what it is.
And I warned you, too. And by the way, 81% of this chat wants you gone, so just get up and leave.
Deuces.
All right. Well, I'm Ari O'Reilly.
No,
Just go.
Just
I'm
go.
still
And
here,
we're
so
taking
you
your
Bleed
can't,
it out.
like,
We don't
stop
want to hear
me.
it. Go
Follow
on.
me on
No, don't
OnlyFans,
follow
you
me.
guys.
Get out the house.
Get out the house. Go. Just leave, please.
Now you want to go ahead and
Go ahead.
when I warned you and I told you.
Dude, nobody fucking cares. You guys
now you're
claim to hate
cursing.
hoes and like
Now
you just
you're
got one
cursing.
pregnant. Bye.
Whoa.
Okay.
You didn't even have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
The anger, viciousness.
We're not being rude. You didn't follow the rules.
Very vicious and mean.
And by the way, I love hoes, by the way. I love hoes.
You're a cloud chaser. You're a cloud chaser.
I'm on
You
this
mentioned
anti-hoe thing, guys.
another podcast over here. Like, it's like,
Your podcast just got demonetized. Is that why you're here?
Go ahead. Carry on. Carry on.
We've been
People always
demonetized.
think I hate hoes. Like, no, I love hoes.
And you're old.
I'm pretty sure he still has more money than you, though.
Oh my god, I'm so afraid of aging.
Pretty sure.
Bro, you look like a
Why
fucking
don't we
clown.
all just stop taking the
Look like a
bait?
fucking
How about
clown.
that?
All right, let's be nice.
How about that?
Is there any bait, though?
I mean, I feel like we spent a little bit more time.
Can I
than necessary
drop
on that.
something
I mean,
on that?
we could have just let her go.
I agree with totally
I want to drop something on. I want to drop something on Marquette real quick.
How old are the boys? How old
Drop
are you?
something on
I'm
me.
going to
How
drop
old are you
something on
guys?
Marquette real
Let's
quick.
go with that.
Drop something on me.
I'll tell you exactly how old I am.
Are you guys? You're 40
You're just old as fuck. Who cares about you? Get the fuck out of here.
You already said it.
Yeah, I mean-
no, Marquette. That's when she was talking about like it's like bad form or it's improper
Impolite.
Bad taste, as some people
improper
say.
etiquette to
Yes.
ask a woman what her age is or what her weight is for that matter as well. There's certain
To
things
some people.
that's like it's like impolite to say those
Correct,
things, right?
yeah.
Now that's old school. That's old, like way. You want to talk about chivalry? That's part of chivalry, actually. You don't ask a woman's age or her weight, but you also don't ask a man how much he makes, and you also don't ask. There's some questions you're not
That's true.
that women
Very
are not
true.
supposed to
Very
ask men,
true.
and there's a reason for that. Is because women need to have some sort of mystery, some sort of obscurity as to whether or not they're somebody that's worth like sticking around for and like reproducing with, right? Because if she is older,
That's why an excuse to come back.
anything that makes her older makes her less fertile, right? If men tend to select for fertility and youth and beauty. We talk about this all the time on here, right? So why wouldn't it be poor form to ask a woman who is like say 36 years old and say, she's how old are you? Well, the thing is, most men don't need to ask that. They can figure that out.
Totally.
And if you can't figure it out on your own, you're not the kind of guy that ought to be fucking around with this chick in the first place, because you should be worldly enough
sharp,
to understand this shit. Likewise, women should not be like, well, how much does he make? How much does he make?
Yeah, right.
Well, the Lamborghini that I just pulled up in should like invalidate that quote. You should fucking know too. And so, therefore, maybe you're not somebody that I ought to be with in the first place, because you can't figure out.
You just reminded me. I'm hoping they're not keying my car on the way out. Goddamn.
Leave it alone.
Jesus Christ.
I just got to
Should have parked in the back.
But
We're going to cut to Rumble in a little bit, guys. So rumble.com/fresh. We're going to cut in like the next minute or two, guys.
You do understand why there are social conventions like that.
Of course. And those are the things that, as I said, we need to be a conscious designer of culture moving forward, because people talk about matriarchy, not realizing that we've already been under the matriarchy.
You probably do a lot of that being on
I feel like you kick your husband's ass all the time. Like, do you have that ball tied up just whooping
I
it?
don't know. My baby is the man.
Because this leather stuff over here, I'm like...
Yeah, well, that's for the women.
Okay, that's what's up.
But there's some traumatized women that need some simps.
they like
Sometimes
it.
you need some healing. You need a little bit of soft love.
You need some simps.
After you've been through with some crazy psycho, like, I mean, it might be nice to be with a little nice guy.
That's
it's
the
like
deep
for
part.
a transitional period. You know?
No, those guys are simps. The guys who are crazy and abusive, those are actual simps. There's levels to it, right?
I had an experience like that. It was awful.
The simps are the emotional males.
Okay, that's
They're
fair.
not the rational male. Wordplay. And because they're so emotional, thank you, sir. Because they're so emotional, when you don't give them what they want, or when they don't feel secure, or when you don't make them feel like a man, see, that's a problem. They're not a man. They need you. And when you're dealing with that parasitic relationship and they feel a lack, that's when they become emotional and violent. So those are not men at all. Those are the
I can see your
simps.
point. That's valid. I can see how a real man would be more protective and make you feel safe.
Because when I said, like, what are you, like, 5'2", 5'3"?
5'4".
Or 5'4", sorry about that. I
No.
want to take 2 inches off you. But, like, if you get mad at me, I look at you, and it's kind of funny. You know, it's like kind of like I'm trying not to laugh while you're mad, but in the back of my head, and, like, if you ball up your fist, like, it doesn't look threatening
It's
to
cute,
me.
and you're not trying to patronize me either.
Right,
I understand.
Right. And if you actually try to attack me, I'd probably just bear hug you. You know,
Yeah, that's
and tell you I
that's a
love
real
you.
man. Hopefully,
and tell you that I love you until you like relaxed and started crying and calmed down.
That's beautiful.
Right
I
now,
like
if this
that.
motherfucker right here balled up his fist, I'm pulling out the clapper. Everybody's getting it. Everyone's going.
Yeah.
But
He
those
doesn't
are the
get a
simps.
bear hug?
It's not going to last very long.
Listen,
That's all I really wanted.
I'm going to pray that the cameras are not live. I'm going OJ. Let's just new OJ.
boy.
New OJ.
All right, so 2 down,
If the
7 to go.
glove fits.
Get some water, stop some water there real quick.
Oh yeah. Shout out.
Okay, so
Thank you, brother.
Yes,
we
indeed.
were okay. So we're talking about the age of Louisiana and everything else like that.
You're over with Bree. Bree's next.
Okay, yeah. So, in your case, how's your career choices affected your ability to meet men? I guess we could say prior to your meeting your guy, maybe, I don't know, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, so I also used to work poker games in LA, and I think being in like a room with a bunch of like celebrities that are playing poker, you get to like, you know, you get their network first off, and that is just knowledge that you can't replace. You know, it's a whole different tier that a lot of people, like, it's rooms you don't get to be in. A lot of people don't get to be in those rooms, and they're talking about everything that they're doing, so you just listen. A lot of girls want to drink and do whatever, but I always just listened. I think the bad is that, you know, for myself personally, because I'm around people who have so much money sitting on the table, sometimes I feel like when someone gives me something, it's never enough. And it's not about anything else but myself.
Damn, that's real.
That's very enlightening.
That's
That is very enlightening.
All right.
I feel it.
Okay, and then what's the ugly? So the good is networking. Bad.
Like that is
Yeah, so, well, you only named 2 things. You said good is the networking, you're able to get in certain rooms. And then the bad, you said, you know, it creates a selfish attitude, I guess, because you've seen a lot of money before. And then is there an ugly, or is that the ugly, I guess?
Yeah, I think that's the ugly.
What's
for
the
sure.
bad then?
Myron.
Okay. I think that, so I'll do the ugly. I think like the ugly is the fact that, you know, you're around these people. No, that's my answer. That's it.
Okay.
No, that's it. I'm not going to make anything else up. That is it. You'd have to deal with yourself, and you have to deconstruct yourself to be a better person.
Has
in those
anybody ever
situations.
judged you for the other decisions
That's
that
what I
you
was
made?
gonna say.
And let's
What about
include,
the-
like, you're also pretty inked up. Did anybody, you worked in nightlife in Vegas.
For sure.
Did any of these things cause you to have people judge you? Would that be an ugly?
Absolutely. Everyone judges.
Somebody that you wanted to date, though, did they ever judge you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They think that I'm going to want to do things that, like, I'm not down to do and stuff like that, or they don't.
I think I'm gonna need an example, love. I'm gonna need an example of that one.
I'm married. That's disrespectful.
Oh.
Okay.
Whoa.
Good answer, though.
Okay.
All right.
All right. What about you?
I would say the good is I've recently in the last few months chosen not to date while I'm scaling my company. So, but prior to that, the good would be I have been able to meet a lot of men that are also successful.